Dun 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 dun. Hey everybody, welcome back to Isyour6covered in the X-Ring.
What's up, everyone?
We're gonna have some fun tonight, change it up a little bit. We're gonna talk a little bit about what makes a good battle rifle and a good, let's just call it a battle pistol. So we'll have some fun. We'll wait for everybody to show up. We got Davey J in the house and Andy Nelson. Welcome to the show. Get this thing big screen so we can see. Get our old eyes over here so we can see the comments. And look at that. Knucklehead.
Look how old I'm getting.
Makes two of us, amigo. So hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully the notifications are going out.
I saw Joaquin. He said, "What the hell?
What the hell?" We had a little bit of fun today. If you guys don't know, we did an Instagram video. On,
What you did an Instagram video?
It's an Instagram video on Isyour6covered. And if you guys are familiar with the Trunk Monkey and the Ford F and Ranger, we kind of did a little spin off of that. And I'm pretty sure the Trunk Monkey won on that one.
I think so.
I think it won. So if you guys get a chance, go check that video out on Instagram. And it'll be under Isyour6covered.
I think it's been a while since we had a chat.
It has been a while. The so topics of the night. ARs. I can't go grab any, but what would you say? We'll kind of start off. I ask you a question, then we'll go get a thing of Kleenex. The mil spec versus some of the stuff you see out there that's not mil spec. What is the difference, and why is some stuff mil spec and the other stuff isn't? And will it fit?
That's a good question. People starting to come in now, so we'll let everybody get in here, and then as soon as he comes back, we'll get started. So that'll kind of be the topic for tonight, but we'll also open it up for any other questions you guys might have, whether it's long range, rimfire, it doesn't matter, and we'll just see where it takes us. But for now, the topic is
battle rifles.
Battle rifle.
What makes a good battle rifle? So.
Can you read all that down there? I don't want to miss anything.
You should scroll. It should scroll now.
Okay.
Joaquin says hit the thumbs up. Yeah, if you guys haven't hit the thumbs up, that would be something very nice you guys can do. But the so we were talking the other day, and obviously you have some competition rifles, but you wouldn't consider those battle rifles.
Correct.
And the reasons why. So I thought it'd be a good topic for people that are going out there and they're buying stuff, right? You have X amount of money and you need to buy something. Now, having an AR of any sort is better than having a sharp stick.
Correct.
As long as you got ammo, I guess.
Yeah.
And a mag. But what makes a battle rifle? What are the things that military is using, law enforcement, and any other branches where they're, officially kind of using a battle per se rifle?
Gotcha. Well, I'll start off by saying this. So the guys that follow the channel or has followed Rick's channel or my channel, most of you probably know that, pretty much spent a lifetime in law enforcement, started in 1991. So it's now 2001. That's
it's 2001?
2021.
There you
Good
go.
catch. So that's like 30 years. I actually just talked to the admin, and I am going to officially hang up my hat like the rest of y'all guys.
That's
and
right.
So that'll be kind of playing around start to finish, about 30 years in it. So for me, a battle rifle was, I've got 100% confidence that when I need this AR, because I don't want to go undergunned, regardless of the call or anything else. When I grab that is, you always talk about escalation of force, and you got a pistol, which is better than a sharp stick.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're not going to talk about the use of force continuum, but we're going to just talk about, like, you got your pistol. Then for years it was a shotgun. And while a shotgun is great and there's almost no equal up close, it leaves a lot with regards to distance engagements.
Sure.
So you started seeing more and more patrol rifles being incorporated, shotguns kind of falling to the wayside with regards to law enforcement. So for me, it had to be something that I had to have 100% faith this thing would work. Now, it's my job to maintain it, but I can't be second guessing that platform. If I've done everything right, it's got to work.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the actual platform itself. Simple, not all these gadgets and everything where you've got bad levers and this, that, and the other, because in those type of situations, those things are things that can cause issues. Little
Correct.
add-ons, inadvertently locking the bolt open or dropping it when you don't need to. While they have their place.
Done that in 3 gun matches, yeah.
And anytime I've taught an AR class or a carbine class, that's one of my first gigs on them, was not having all these things that were unnecessary. We've talked about that before on the channel,
correct,
but never in this depth. I'm not a big fan of. Now, guys, remember, let's keep this in context. We're not talking about a competition AR. We're talking about something when I grab it, it needs to work. It has to work. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of drop-in triggers in ARs for a battle rifle. This is a battle rifle context. And guys, chime in if you disagree or agree in any way on certain things.
But you're not saying a mil-spec trigger.
A mil-spec trigger is fine.
Straight up mil-spec trigger.
Absolutely fine. Okay. So a mil-spec trigger is going to be heavier, less chance of having a negligent discharge because, maybe your finger wasn't in the right place. Or let's say you forgot to throw on the safety and you've got it slung and you drop it, down and it snags on something. So there's nothing wrong with that regard to that type of trigger. But these high-speed triggers, I'm not going to name names tonight, but just like drop-in triggers, I'm not a big fan of those for a battle rifle. That'd be one of the first things. Okay. Triggers got to work. Fire control groups got to work. But this is a big one for me. I want my gun to be overgassed. I do not want any type of adjustable gas block. I also want it pinned. I do not want 2 set screws determining whether or not my rifle might have come undone to where I'm not getting enough gas to the action to get the next shot out.
Especially if it's something where it sits and rattles in a car all day long.
Correct.
Them screws are going to come loose.
Exactly right. And that's what I've seen. Guys can say, well, I use Loctite. I still think that's a bad call. I do know that when it comes to battle rifles, and Colt's kind of out of the business now. You don't really see them. That's why you did see them so much in law enforcement. But I had 2 big names that come to mind, and I'm going to really tout these up. I've got some reviews coming up on these. But Daniel Defense is one. The Geisley Super Duty is also one. On both of those, you're going to find exactly what we're talking about. You're finding good, basically, I'm going to call it a service grade trigger. Yeah. Mil-spec trigger, as you called it. You're going to have a pin to gas block, non-adjustable gas system. I do want some type. I don't really want a brake. I want something that can either assist, whether it's going to be a suppressor or a flash hider. Something that with that regard. And then as far as optics, I am going to run an aim point plain, period, end of story. And that's just because of battery life. I've got plenty of story. Look, not knocking on EOTech, but the battery life is not such that, we get busy with life. We don't always change batteries out when we need to.
That is a fact.
And, if you can just say once a year, I'm changing it out, just do it every January, you're good. But I think we talked about it one night. I was on a mission. We were getting ready to kick some doors in on a high risk, and EOTech went down. And of course, you got to be able to have those backup irons. So that for me,
that makes sense.
I know it was very long winded, but those are kind of like my checklist boxes on what I look for in battle grade AR.
So
combat AR.
Let's get into, like the AK, the Glock, that kind of stuff. I wouldn't say a hair sloppier, but it has more tolerances, so you don't have to, it'll run when it gets dirty.
Yeah.
Are we talking the same thing when it comes to ARs?
You don't. I've never, in all of my years of doing this, seen anyone carrying an AK as a patrol rifle.
I'm not saying an AK. What I'm saying is, are the tolerances the same?
No, typically, I don't think they're going to be. Okay, I think. When you talk about mil-spec, what you're talking about is a certain specifications, plus or minus, on tolerances, on what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Okay, and these were military standards. That's why it's military specifications.
But like, if I took a bolt from an AR,
yep,
that's a competition rifle, and one from a battle rifle, Are you going to see differences?
The only differences I think you would see, because tolerances need to maintain tolerances to work from one AR to another, what you're going to see are lightened bolt carrier groups for faster lockup time and things like that. And you don't want any of that. You don't want any of that bull crap.
Yeah.
What you
good
need
for light running speed.
Yeah, and M16 bolt carrier is what you need. Okay.
Games, yeah.
Yeah. So let's get caught up on this. Thanks, Heza. Loctite is great.
I got your email.
Till you get it hot. That's exactly right.
So
John.
So when it comes to aluminum,
we're not even talking about Microtech. You know, I don't know what your hang up is. I'm going to go ahead and call you out on it because I've addressed some of your comments before.
Oh yeah, stirring it up.
I don't know how this even comes into play. You know, this is a gun channel basically, whether it's his or whether it's mine. Haven't even mentioned a Microtech, so let's just keep that and other people's names out of it. If you're not in it for that, then you know just. You know what? Just shut the hell up. You know, I ain't got time for this shit.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Here you go. There you go. Type away, Don John. 1. It ain't gonna matter now. All right, we got LZ USA out there. I appreciate everybody showing up. We'll have some fun today. Hopefully, you guys enjoy a different topic. I know a lot of you guys. Especially me on my channel, I've been killing the 22 rimfire stuff just because it's been the hot item. It's almost over. Got nationals, and then we'll see what happens from there. So.
Yeah. So yeah, you're leaving out for nationals Friday.
Yep. Texas.
Myself and Matt decided not to shoot nationals. I'm headed to Utah. I'm flying out tomorrow, and then we'll be shooting the PCSL, which I've never done a PCSL 2-gun match. Out in St. George, Utah. So
Chris Beck said, "What such language?" Let's see here.
Such language. Where'd you see such language? Oh no, it's not bad language.
No, he's just having fun with it.
Okay, Mycroft says agree on what you said about AR reliability. Yeah, and that's a big thing with me. I will tell you, you know, I carried an HK 416. While that's a great platform. If someone were to ask any of you guys out there, you know, you had one AR that you had to go into the gun safe, the closet, wherever, and grab it, and you know you're going to be out on your own for the next year. I'm probably going to go with a direct impingement gun, something that if I were to have something catastrophically fail, that I've got interchangeability with all these other mil-spec parts. You know, I really don't like proprietary parts and components. Dick, not calling you out, but like on the Knights, like you were running a Knights Armament. While I love Knights Armament's products, that E2 bolt is proprietary. And while it has a longer life.
I couldn't go, here you go.
Yeah, exactly. I can't say, let me borrow this bolt carrier group over here. I could borrow the bolt carrier group, but not the bolt itself.
Okay.
So proprietary parts are a no-no when it comes to what I would consider a battle rifle. You know, and I've seen it all. Not everybody's price point is the same. You'll have younger officers come in and, you know, they've built up a PSA or something, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. But we still have a QC inspection that all carbines have to go through. Yeah. We basically completely disassemble that firearm, inspect it before we're going to okay it for duty. It's not always just going to be, okay, this name brand, this model.
Gotcha.
Because you will have guys that are moving stuff around. Now, if I see an NC Star red dot, not happening, not passing, that's going to be a no-no.
At some point, there's a line in the sand of
correct.
You can't use this crap.
Correct.
And a lot of law enforcement. Who was I talking to the other day? They needed to do some basically check everything. You know, their calls, and they had guys with red dots that weren't even zero. They had guys with no batteries. You know, and come on, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Daniel God is my judge says LMT, and while I'm a huge fan of Lewis Machine and Tool, one of their models that I carried for years, I never gave it a second thought when I carried it in the car. You were actually, it was either yourself or Matt was with me when the piston system grenaded on me, and that was it. Gun was done.
Must have been Matt.
So we were actually out at the range, and this was my go-to. I still have it, as a matter of fact. It was a piston system. It was their Defender 2. No, it was the CQC, I think it was. The adjustment to be able to move the regulator for the piston that was actually peened in. I didn't realize it. It looked like it was a screw head. And I'd never messed with it. You're not supposed to mess with it. And that actually flew off. The peening broke. I called LMT. They actually gave me another one, sent one. But for that moment, for those next week or so, I had a rifle that was non-repairable, no parts available. You had to have that piston in, that cap. So that's why you want continuity and not proprietary items.
That was a competition rifle, but KAC is a real battle rifle carrying one overseas.
What's this now?
Dickhead just saying that was a competition rifle, but KFC Knights Armament is a real battle rifle, carried one overseas. We talked a little bit. They talked a little bit about slings. They talked a little bit about lights. Obviously, you should have a light. Definitely a sling.
Yeah. And like I said, I wasn't knocking KAC. I mean, the SR25 or the M110, that is a battle rifle. There is no doubt about it. What I'm talking about is the stuff with the new E2 system, because I don't think you can drop in any other bolt other than that E2 bolt. Maybe you can correct me on that, Dick. I've had a lot of Knights, they're SR15s, and when all that started happening, I kind of got away from it because I don't want those proprietary parts.
Have a good night, Patty. Yeah, so when we're talking, it's basically aluminum. It's probably what, 6061 aluminum for uppers.
You're talking about the upper and lowers?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are going to, and
and that's the thing. Like if you see an Anderson compared to a PSA, compared to a so on and so forth, there's some different bells and whistles and better quality.
You want a forged system. A lot of people might think that billet, because it has a lot more mass, is stronger, and that's not the case. You do want a forged lower receiver set, forged upper. I mean, anytime you can get forgings, those are just going to be really, really strong. Gotcha. I mean, it's going to be very, very durable. So I think there's been plenty of tests showing that forged is the way to go on that.
Yeah. Some of the things you'll see, and I got one coming. It's made by Leadstar, but all the extra holes and lightning on that where dirt and stuff can get in, like that's another thing. It's definitely for competition, and that can even be a pain to even have for competition as well, but you're not going to see any of that on a battle rifle.
So Brian asked a really good question. What is the shortest barrel you would use on a 5.56 AR-15? Your maximum and target encounter is going to be 150 yards. Brian, that's a great question, because I've done a lot of testing with this. And I've got everything from 5-inch ARs, 5-inch barrels. And then I've got an 8, 8.5, and then it goes 10, 12s, 13s. Most of my ARs are either really, really short or they're really long.
Either long range stuff or short.
Yeah. And what I've seen is 5 inches is too small. While it does have an advantage of being very, very compact, you're going to have some serious accuracy issues beyond 100 yards with a 5-inch barrel. You're still going to get a ton of penetration through soft body armor, like level 2, level 3. It'll still cut through it like Swiss cheese. So if that's the application that's needed for, some people call it executive protection or whatever. If you need something that's really small, really compact, up close and personal, then the 5 is great, but you're not going to be able to hit much past 100. Some of the groups on 5-inch barrels can be this big at 100 yards. You're also going to see some keyholing depending on if you're not shooting the right bullet weight. So to answer your question, I've done a lot of testing with 8.5, and 8.5, I can still engage targets at 200 yards and in, and you still have a very compact package that you can throw a suppressor on, while you are going to probably do some damage to that suppressor on the blast baffles, because you're just getting so much powder burn, and certain suppressors are meant for certain things, like even Surefire. I'll go ahead and say something about it. They have a Surefire that's specifically made for SBRs. So 8.5 would probably be the shortest I'd feel comfortable with in a 5.56. Your muzzle velocity is going to be way down, somewhere around 2,000 to 2,100 feet a second. But if you do the math on it, it's still a ton of energy and it's still a ton of penetration. So I'd say 8.5 based on your question there, 150 and in. I think 10 is a great middle ground if you're wanting something like short. No, you can engage a whole lot further with a 10-inch barrel than 250 yards. I mean, pretty darn accurately as well. I mean, just look at the Mark 18. I've got a review coming up on one of those. I have a Mark 18 coming in finally. And so we'll do a good review on that.
A lot of people are liking the 11 and a half.
11 and a half is good. Anything bigger than 10.
10.3.
Let's see here. Let's get caught up. Abigail says proprietary parts are why I don't mess with LMT and KAC.
And yeah, Brian, that is correct. Lead Star is owned by PSA.
A Wombat, I carried a Colt in the 90s. For duty, I only added a light and a sight. Everything else was factory. You don't want to give a lawyer something to use against you. Wombat, while I agree with the Colt, and back in the day, and even today, I mean, Colt made a great rifle. I don't know where they're at right now and who owns them and everything else. Right but yeah, I mean, I don't think the whole lawyer thing. I mean, as long as you don't, they came up. There was a shooting not too long ago. It was a couple of years ago where the guy had, on the dust cover door. It was like,
go
whatever. It says sort them all.
Yeah,
kill them all. Let God sort them out. I wouldn't have anything like that on it, but a duty rifle with just normal stuff, your white light, your sling, everything else. I don't think you're going to get hemmed up on any of that.
And I think a lot of that has to do with probably the state you're in.
Yeah.
When you start adding those silly verbiage to stuff like that.
Yeah. Daniel says his LMT is a non-piston CQB 300 Blackout. And that's a great option. So that's direct impingement. And that piston gun that I was telling you about, one of the good things about the LMT is they do have a barrel where you can take the piston system off and just put the direct impingement on there. Really? So, yeah, but I didn't have one of those barrels laying around.
Yeah. So
at least they've thought about it.
That was the old trunk monkey, right?
Yeah. Well, from a long, long time ago. Yeah. And that was a monolithic upper. And I still like the system. But that piston system, once it failed me like that, it just left a bad taste in my mouth.
So how about, because you see, or at least you hear, I'm basically trying to ask questions that, there would be out there. Chrome line barrel.
Yeah, for combat use,
machine gun or what?
Well, no, a chrome line barrel is a great barrel, as long as it had good chrome lining, something that wasn't flaking or started coming apart. But there really is no break-in on it. They're going to be very, very resistant to any type of corrosion when you neglect it, and like even in law enforcement. And I mean, those guys, yeah, those things the last time they got cleaned was when they were qualifying with them a year ago. So. Yeah. Yeah, chrome line barrel is good to go with. No issues with that. LWRC piston or Daniel Defense. Something simple, nothing fancy. SR15s are great, but the cost to replace a bolt. Yeah, it's like 400 and some change.
For a bolt?
Yeah. Yeah, Jason Hunt asked, what's your preferred red dot optic for a battle rifle? For me,
guess. Aim point.
It's aim point. I need some wood on this, but guys, I have never, ever, ever in my life had an aim point go down on me. I know it does happen because everything can fail, but I can't say that for EOTech. I never carried a hollow sun on duty. For me, it was always aim point from pretty much day one, unless I didn't have a choice.
Well, you pick something good. I mean, it's not like you.
Well, a lot of it depends. Like if you're on a special SWAT team or CERT team, there are certain things you can and can't do depending on your agency. Okay. Like what I've seen typically is the larger the agency, the less you can do with the firearm. Okay. That's a good rule of thumb because in a lot of smaller agencies,
they get all sorts of crap hanging on.
Well, a lot of times they get subsidies. It's like, we'll give you $500 towards your pistol and you get whatever you want. And then they'll go out and buy a SIG 226, typically is what I've seen, or a Glock or something like that. But as long as whoever the range master was said, yeah, that's a good pistol, you can't just buy you a high point and keep the extra money.
Yeah.
It's got to be it's got to be a proven platform.
High points are proven. You got to shoot them sideways.
Yeah.
But other than that.
So Jason, for me, it's an aim point. Tell me what's better. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me clarify that.
Where are you at?
There? Aim points that don't use in-style batteries.
In style, not cool batteries.
In
is
in batteries.
Nancy.
Because in batteries are impossible to find. The battery life is a lot lower, and we're talking about the latest, greatest, you know, the M68s, all of those that use like a AA or a AAA or a CR 2032, something like
stuff
that.
You can actually
yeah,
find.
It has 50,000 plus hours of life. You can just leave it on low, and it's always on. Don't have to worry about turning it on.
And you always leave it on low.
When you need it quickly. I can't tell you how many times I needed something very quickly or something. You know, get in a car chase, you're bailing with your rifle. I mean, you've already got your rifle out. You've got it in your lap. Yeah, it might not be the safest thing if you're in a collision, but you know you're going to come out hot with that thing. I don't have time to be fumbling around in the car when I'm chasing something to try to turn this thing on, be pressing buttons or anything else. It needs to be on.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Even if it's barely on, it's on.
Yeah. And then a lot of guys are going to say, well, why don't you just run irons and nothing but irons? While I completely am fine with that, if you can have both, then why not go with the dot? The dot's just, in my opinion, it's just a lot quicker for most lighting situations. Starts to get a little dark or low light, not enough for the flashlight. You can lose your sights really easily, especially if you got a dark background.
I would say a red dot as a whole has improved the game of shooting tenfold. Between defensive pistols to ARs and all the competition stuff.
Okay, tell me what's better. This is a good question by Bad Billy.
What's up, Bad Billy?
Tell me what's better on a Daniel Defense DDMV47. I think it's DDM4V7 for $2,000 over a Colt LE 6920. Great platform, no issues with that whatsoever. Or a SIG M400 for $1,200. I think what you're going to really get down to on that is going to be probably the barrel. Daniel Defense actually makes their own barrels, all cold hammer forged. Colt wasn't back in the day. I think I know who the company was that was making them for them, but I'm not allowed to say. SIG, who has a clue? I don't know. Actually ran some M4s, the M400s for a while there, and they also had a piston gun ran for a while with mixed results.
Depending on,
I think you're getting a better barrel. I think you're getting a better finish.
Coating has a lot to do with it. Not so much for reliability, but if it's bouncing around the back of
it's just a more solid firearm.
Yeah,
you
can almost tell.
Yeah, just by holding the handguards and everything. PWS, maybe their long stroke piston works great suppressed. So Shebal Siki, I did have a chance to shoot some of the PWSs with their long stroke piston, and it's pretty unique the way that it's set up. You know, I don't know if it needs more proof time or anything else. I did shoot them quite a bit recently. I do want to get a review on one of those if I can, but the whole system was pretty neat the way it integrates in with this long rod that goes into the bolt carrier group. It's pretty neat if you haven't seen one of those. So 11.5 inches for me. The blast on the 10.5 is just too damn much. That's what cans are for, Joe M. Dick Hedges 10.3. Lead Star is actually owned by PSA. That's absolutely correct. Used to know the owner of Lead Star, and then once PSA acquired him, I think they pushed him out. My favorite in the house length is 11.5.
So what would you say are the most reliable on a battle rifle? I know it probably comes in a few, but when it comes to basically the gas tube, carbine length, rifle length.
Okay, so that's a great question. So when you talk about recoil impulse, which on a 223 is not much recoil. I mean, let's face it, it's not like you're shooting 30-06.
No, not at all.
You know, the carbine, I think, is the most recoil impulse, but I think it's the most reliable, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. And I think mid-length gets a little softer. It's a good mix between the two. And then you got rifle, but guys, there's so much beyond that now. You've got these pistol length. Now you've got rifle +1. You have all these different length gas tubes. But, you know, for me, I either ran really short or long ones. So for me, it was always, it always seemed to be rifle length on my long guns and then carbine on the shorter ones.
Okay.
All right. My Daniel Defense Mark 12 with the Zenitco IR laser and light guard beside my bed and rides behind my truck. Seat dog get to ride in the front.
There you go.
Yeah,
Patrick.
there you go. That's a good setup.
He's almost got a trunk monkey. He's got a truck dog.
Yeah. BCM also makes a great rifle as well. He's got cold hammer forging with FSP. What is FSP? Front sight post. Got it.
Did Grand Thumb ever?
No, he never did. I just did it for fun.
Lazy.
KAC, LMT, any Colt with the proper markings and Daniel defense. So, yeah, there
Kevin's
you go.
got some good ones on there.
Dick Hedges says his Mark 18 is good out to 400. Yep, no doubt about it.
What's up, Mr. Baldwin? Curious? You have New York Client Battle Rifle. Yeah, that's the one they sell for California. It's
Riding the wave. Okay, if you have a battle rifle in 308, what's the shortest barrel length that the round can still be utilized to its potential? Oh, man, that's a great question. I think the shortest 308 I've ever shot was something like a 10-inch gun. And
no thanks.
I don't know if I would go that short. I did a lot of testing back in the day before the days of these short 308s. And I actually had one bolt gun that had like a 14 and something inch barrel and some 16s for a bolt gun. And you can still engage targets out to 900 and some change pretty easily. Now, that being said, you are holding a whole lot more elevation, but yeah, you can definitely do it. No doubt about it. So to answer that, 308, without knowing more specifically, I'm going to say 14 to 16 would probably be, and you're giving up a lot with the 14. I'd say a 16-inch probably.
There's a comment here. I just saw it. Oh, Mycroft. He asked that twice already.
Okay, 10.5-inch 223. Yeah, so 10.5. I'm hearing that quite a bit. That 10 range. I think that's a good compromise. Can you discuss your problems or solutions for 6-arc bolt carrier group? Okay, so yeah, and like I said, we'll answer any of the questions. So, guys, myself and Kenny have been playing a lot with the 6-arc. A whole lot. And I am thrilled to death with that cartridge. It does really well. No reflection on cobalt because we've been playing around with different port sizes. And what we're starting to see is that these barrel manufacturers are starting to get everything right. The last 22-inch proofs that came in, no, they're not available. They're 22-inch proof and 6-arc. Those are all holding just over half minute. So somewhere around 0.6s, and that's with factory ammunition. But what we've been playing around with is the gas port size. So the last one I got from Proof, it just has a pilot hole, and what we'll do is we'll actually increase that gas port size to get it to be optimized for the barrel length and whatever
to get
system I'm running with whatever buffer. And so I knew that 6-arc wasn't quite ready because we had been having some feed issues with playing around with different magazines and whatnot. And so, during that last match, that DMR that I had won in the open division, it performed well, but I had my share of issues. I probably had about 6 malfunctions for that match.
That was all mag related, right?
I think it's mag and timing related, but we're starting to get all that sorted out. So I'll update you guys on that here soon. ACOG is crap when against modern sights. I agree with that, Dick. Optic for a 45 ACP Banshee. I actually reviewed one of those.
Here's a good question by Brian, too. We passed.
I don't know anything. B-pillar is not covered. We did a video proving it.
Right here.
Okay, Ray, do you prefer a 5.56 or 300 Blackout Supers for home defense? Both with a can. Okay, so
whatever's close.
So, Brian, what I've done is in my house, strategically located, I have a bunch of 300 Blackouts, subsonics with cans. And not so much for me, but it's for Mini X and Miss X. We're going to call her. Okay, so Mini X and Mrs. X. They're very comfortable for them to shoot. They have no problem manipulating them. They're very short barrels with suppressors on them. Like I said in one of the videos, I'm not going to be grabbing hearing protection. I hear something move, I've got it, and it's ready to go to work or whatever. They all have white lights on them, And that's just one of those things. So for them, 300 Blackout subs, 100 and in probably. But if I was going to have to engage further than that with subs, that wouldn't probably be the best setup. For me, that's not the first thing I'm grabbing. First thing for me is going to be about a 10-inch 5.56.
But the cool thing about that is all you got to do is drop the mag and add, get rid of the subs. And
yes. Yeah, as long as your suppressor, if you're running one, is or isn't rated for it, even if it isn't. I've done extensive testing, and most of your suppressors that claim that they are for subs only, they can still handle multiple mags of 300 supers. Now, at that point, well, I'm just saying, and I don't do that. I'm just saying, you got to be willing to risk your whatever can that you've bought or purchased.
Yeah, because it could all be gone instantly.
Yeah, but at that point, you don't care. Life and death, true. I don't give a crap. Mow it off the end of it. That's more shrapnel going that direction.
I see the point to that.
All right, so let's see here. Back in my day, SRT days, I carried an MP5 Navy model iron sights. We were just shooting an MP5 today on the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah, you might
aim points on all of our duty rifles these days. Yeah, and Sean D, now there's so many companies, B&T and everyone else that are making aim point mounts that you can basically clamp onto the MP5s, and that's still a great system. I love it. Crazy quiet.
Man, I love that thing.
Yeah.
30 rounds.
It's one of my most favorite platforms that I own.
We just did it's on, I posted it on my Instagram, but it's let's just call it Trunk Monkey versus Ford Ranger.
Are you allowed to play that on this? You ought to just show them that. Don't you have it on your phone?
Yeah, I got it on my phone. I don't think YouTube will. I don't know. You know what? Screw YouTube.
Worst they can do is shut us down, right?
Wouldn't be the first time or the second time.
Just play it off your video, so it's not doing off the link. All right, so guys, here we go. This had nothing to do with the video we were shooting today, but he was like, I got an idea. And look, I don't follow TikTok or anything else, but there's this song, Ford effing Ranger.
Why would anyone want a Ford Ranger when you can have a Trunk Monkey? I told you don't want a Ford Ranger, you want a Trunk Monkey. Right. The Trunk Monkey Shepherd. I'll let you guys watch the rest of it later.
Anyway, so more fun with the knuckleheads today.
Yeah, it was knuckle nuts day. Let's see here.
14.7.
Dick likes the MROs. Yeah, those are nice. Let's see. I have Glock 21. Any recommended holster? I'm assuming you're talking bearded barista concealed carry, right?
I have a Glock 21. I actually carried a 21 on duty as an issued pistol for quite a while. Any recommended holster? It depends on, we carried the Safari Lands. It was level 3 holster. I don't know if you're talking about for carrying concealed, in the waistband, it's a big pistol, or what you're talking about, but you'd probably want to look at something, I guess it depends on how you're trying to carry it. It's a big pistol to carry, but it's a great pistol. I have a Ragnarok from T-Rex Arms, great, but passive retention. Yeah. I mean, I don't know of anything you're going to be able to conceal carry that's going to have active retention other than Safari Lands, or like even G-Code might make one, but those are all going to be outside holsters.
Yeah.
Dick Hedges had a lot of ACOGs go down. Internals no longer tracking. Yeah, that's actually quite a common problem with the ACOGs. So guys, if you go to a gun show and you see one that's not a knockoff and it was a bring back or something, there's chances are if you get it back home, you can try to do the tapping and all that to try to get it to track, but they'll start losing their tracking and you'll never be able to get it serviced.
That's why you got to go with Vortex.
Brian, if using a short barrel, the 300 will do better. Yeah, and so Vash Matrix hits on a good point because your powder burn on a 300 Blackout is so much shorter. I mean, you've got a full burn by 6 to 8 inches, depending on what you're shooting. And you do have a much heavier projectile.
Oh yeah.
I mean, twice.
You're throwing a big piece of meat out there.
Yeah, because most people on 50, in 5.56, they're going to be shooting 55s or 62 grainers, something around that weight range. And most all of your blackouts are going to be in that 120 plus, unless you're shooting subs, and you'll be over 200. So I do agree with that. I like the 300. It's got a lot of versatility, especially if you're shooting
use
suppressed.
whatever you can get rid of.
The point is, don't even think about wrecking a race house. Well, not if I'm home. Any experience with LaRue rifles?
You got to get past the dog first.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jason, yeah, I actually have a lot of experience with the LaRue rifles. I've owned the Predator and the Preda OBR, whatever it is. And believe it or not, those were great rifles, really heavy compared to other rifles, but they were absolute joys to shoot because there was less felt recoil, I think, because of the weight. And they were all very, very accurate rifles. I actually regret selling one of them, and the guy locally here actually purchased that from me. I still see him at some of the matches. He was actually
shooting that rifle.
Yeah. And I missed that rifle,
cool.
but it is a lot of money. Just like your Daniels and your Knights, you're going to pay good money for those LaRues, but they do make a good rifle, in my opinion. I've never had an issue with one anyway. All right.
Great video, Dick says. Let's see here.
Have you tried Duramag 6 arc mags? Mycroft, I have tried every single 6.5 Grendel mag around. I know that there are some 6 arc mags coming out, and I think Duramag actually has just a little slightly different follower in it. But it's not a magazine issue at this point. Right now, it's just going to be a gassing issue and getting the buffer right.
The same problem you got then.
Huh, funny. The hell with the can use. What will ever get rid of the threat? The hell with the can.
That's right.
Exactly.
DW brings up a good point. If you guys get a chance, hit the thumbs up button.
All right, Sam Stone, mil spec, cold hammer forge, chrome lined, heavy barrels, FN, Spikes Tactical. I don't know the question on that. I do know if you're asking, okay, so mil spec, cold hammer forge barrel, or an FN barrel, or Spikes Tactical. I know that FN makes a great barrel. There's a time there, and there probably still is. I know FN, because they were in Columbia, was doing a lot of barrels for PSA, and you were seeing a lot of the FN barrels. But the true FNC or the FNH marked barrels, those all shoot really well. I've never had any issues with them. I like the cold hammer forge, like the Colt barrels. Never had any issues with those. Spikes, I don't know. I can't speak much about it. I never, while I've had a chance to shoot plenty of Spikes stuff, and I have some lowers, I've never had any complete builds of Spike Tacticals.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Listening only, driving hoot. LaRue makes a great trigger that rivals the guy's 2-stage model. Yeah, so Brian, I am going to agree with you on that. We actually won some of those, and I had a chance to put them in a rifle. It comes in a little round 10. I actually saw it around here somewhere.
Yeah, I don't remember what rifle I put it in.
But it's actually a really good trigger, and I think it's a $100 trigger or so. I think it's a good option. I do like a lot of the Geisley triggers, but I don't like the Geisley, the Super 3G, if they still make that one, because it doubles quite often when you don't want it to.
I don't know.
Y'all have any experience with Callaway Ballistics 124 9mm? No, Abigail, but I know that John said, John over at KB32 said he was going to try to send me some of that to try out. So it's the LaRue MBT. It is the, what is that? Meticulously built trigger.
It's actually a good
nice
trigger.
Yeah. All right. Y'all know I'm just picking. Yeah, Noveski is another quality rifle. Yeah, this came up tonight, Jay Bird, and I do have a Noveski, and they're great rifles. But good luck finding one. It seems like things changed at some point for Noveski. And I don't know if that was after, John was killed in the car wreck or what, but it was just like availability started getting harder, and you just don't see them that much anymore. But I know, and I have some Noveskis, and, their Afghan barrel was an awesome barrel. But then I did start to see some accuracy issues as time went on. But they do build a great rifle. No doubt about it.
What's up, LA?
LA to BKK says he's got a Daniel Defense M4 V7 with primary arms, 1X Cyclops, a Purst 4 Gen 3 dual visible IR laser, POF Revolution 308, and of course, a Glock 34 Gen 3. No science projects, just go out and practice as much as I reasonably can.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to live by right there. You've got great equipment. Can't blame any of that. I mean, POF, back, I had a chance to spend some time with Frank, met him personally, got to talk to him quite a bit back in the day. And he built a really good rifle, no doubt about it. I've had a lot of the 308s and a lot of the 15s. Once again, a little heavy,
I had a POF,
but good rifles. You have a POF?
308.
POF lower or the whole gun?
POF lower.
The lower, yeah. Do you still have the Accuracy International? Yes, Pew Pew Peter, I do. I have both of them. I am going to be shooting the ATX weekend after next. That will be the primary rifle. For you guys that do follow my channel, I did get the Daniel Defense Delta 5 Pro. That rifle impressed me quite a bit. So much so, a lot of guys had recommendations for me doing a comparison between other rifles, kind of like in that same price point. I think what we were talking about tonight that I've come up with is for that $24.99. I want to do a direct comparison between that Delta 5 Pro and let's say like a Tikka T3, like the one that you have, and because there's pros and cons to both, and we'll discuss that in the video. But yeah, to answer your question, I have the AI. That's my rifle, and yeah, I love it. It's good.
Bolt carrier groups. Which ones do you trust for battle rifle applications?
Bad Billy. Let me. I don't want to skip.
It's up here.
Okay,
that's the next one.
Right. What are the bolt carrier groups that you trust for battle rifle applications?
I just told you that, Dick.
But I wasn't listening. I was reading. Oh, any true M16 bolt carrier profile. I won't have an issue with those. For a battle rifle, stay away from anything. I mean, I'm not opposed to a chrome lined or a DLC as long as the base configuration was a true M16 bolt carrier group. I think DLC has its place. It runs cleaner just because of that coating. It's just very lubricant.
There's more cut though on a M16 bolt than there is.
No.
I thought it had to be longer, the cut in the back.
No, an M16 bolt carrier group. Oh, here's one right here. We can show this. It's not a gun, right?
I don't know. Who knows? YouTube's out of control.
So this is something Rick had picked up. It's an actual lead star. So what he's talking about is back in this area right in here. Typically on M16 bolt carrier group, you're going to have a longer length here. Some of them will be shortened. You definitely want that mass in there. I said mass. And nothing lightened. Don't go with titanium this or titanium that.
The wiffle ball back.
You also want to make sure that they're staked properly on the carrier key. On each side is what I like to see. I know there are some other proven bolt carrier groups that aren't staked, but we're not going to get into that.
Ever mess with any of the Barrett platforms?
The Barrett AR platforms, yes. I have had a chance to shoot some of those. I actually almost got one about a month ago.
Steve, right?
Yeah, interesting thing. And you guys we didn't talk about this, but when Rick and I went to Nashville, we actually got to hang out with Chris Barrett. And so that was actually pretty cool. We were not in the video mood, so we didn't record anything.
We recorded 0.
Yeah, it was actually kind of cool to do that because sometimes you just want to get away from it when you're on a trip like that.
Actually, the only thing I recorded was when we were in the hotel, and if you look,
the lights,
yeah, that was it.
Yeah, but got to hang out with Chris
and
some guys from Blackwater, and it was a cool evening. Yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah. And not again, because I haven't said it yet, but it's been crazy life right now. So you haven't been seeing as many live chats. So do apologize.
All right, so I'm going to get some real haters here.
Oh, I like it. Stir up that pot.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to stir the pot in a big way. We're going to have some poo in it.
Man.
Brian Duchesne says the Delta 5 Pro and a Howa would be a better comparison video. Maybe there's something Howa's doing that I'm not seeing, but every Howa that I have ever had my hands on that I've shot has turned out to be a piece of crap. I'm just going to flat out say it. You've been there for some of them.
Yeah.
I've known more people to have to send them back and have issues. I also know some very reputable gunsmith guys. Now, look, I do know that Howa is very, very popular.
There's one guy that sent one back 4 times.
Yeah, so I'm not even going to go Howa anything. I don't think you'll ever see another one on my channel. Not that I won't give them another chance, but I've seen too many guys. If you know how many bad rifles that I've, friends or someone would contact me, hey, do you mind reviewing
I can't
this?
get it to 0.
And I'm like, okay, now I'm not even putting this on the channel. And
that's a fact, actually.
that's a big fact.
And it's to not blast somebody, really. I mean, you could put a video out like that and be all, this is a POS.
Look, I'm sure they're out there, but I have yet to see a good Howa.
The one guy that we know out in the
I'm getting ready to see if there's, because it's getting ready to blow up. But I know who you're talking about.
Cornfield.
Yeah.
He said he had to send one he had back like 3 times.
Okay, I pulled my hair out over that one rifle. It was a Howa. And a buddy of mine had just bought it. It was brand spanking new. He's like, man, there's something wrong with my scope. I can't get this thing zeroed. And I went out. I brought all match ammo. I brought extra scopes, you name it. I was out there probably 3 hours until I determined that the gun was a piece of crap. The best group that thing would hold was about 2.5 minutes and like 50 yards. And when I put a night force on it, changed all the bases, the rings, you name it. And I was like, dude, this rifle is just crap. I was like, did you overheat this thing? What did you do? He's like, it's brand new. It's brand new.
It's a Monday rifle.
Anyway.
Can you please review the B&T APC?
Okay, so hold on. Where's that question at?
It's at the bottom,
okay.
So we'll see it.
If someone's asking about the B&T APC,
no, you can't use that question. It's at the bottom.
Okay, it's at the bottom. We'll get to that.
We'll get to
Ray, I transferred an FN GP35 made in Belgium this evening. Browning was ahead of his time. Your thoughts on the Springfield SA35? I have no experience with the Springfield SA35.
Have you shot the Taurus G3?
No.
Can't help you there, DW.
If I don't know, I'll say I don't know. Yeah. I'm actually looking at picking up an XL this weekend.
XL.
Sportsman's Warehouse Barrett is now only $13,999, but I noticed something about it. It only has a 16-inch barrel of that. What a waste.
18
for 50
grand
BMG.
2 months ago. Man, I tell you what, that's a lot.
Yep, Howa sucks. That's why I'm looking for another rifle. Pew Pew Peter says. Okay, so
it's unfortunate, actually. Something's going on there. It's quality control or something. Maybe they're using I don't know, an old flat bastard file to.
So Tree Feller, I knew somebody from Australia would comment because Howa has a very big presence. I don't know if it's just because it's closer to Japan, because I think all the Howas are made in Japan, aren't they?
Well, that's kind of the same way with the Savages in Canada.
Yeah, it's like, and he said, but for some reason they shoot well for their price. Okay, and like I said, I'm not going to knock on that. Swing and a miss on my part. Sorry about the howls. Okay, can you please review the APC, the B&T APC 9 12.1? So San Miguel, no, not yet. Right now, there's a big holdup with B&T. I actually have an APC 9 machine gun that is being held up right now because of certain things. But there's also some 223s on the list.
I don't even know if you're allowed to say that word on this.
Yeah. So if I can get one, I will. Ray, just want to tell you how much I hate you. Just joking. I got my first Microtech from you back in April on Rick's Live SoCon. Now I have 5 Microtechs. They're addictive.
I saw him comment on something else.
Yes, they are.
Welcome to the madness, my man.
MPA PMR Pro would be a dollar for dollar comparison. All right, that's good, Mycroft. If I get my hands on one of those, I will.
That's the tough part, guys, is
getting the hands on something that's an exact comparison. That's why the Tika right now would be the closest, because we've got one and we can just do it. Mr. X, are you going to start doing long range shooting class? Man, I've been trying to get that plan for so long. It's been crazy.
I know. I actually feel bad now.
Why?
Because we've been.
Well, every time we tried to do it, something has come up with regards to either the range or whatnot. It's not that I don't want to do it, and I do have time, but the problem is we were going to start doing that at Sawmill. That fell through and didn't pan out. That would have been a great venue to do that. I'm not saying that's out of the question, but I still need to talk to them. And Old Ford is a great place if you've never done long range shooting.
It's only 700
yards
guys.
is not.
But You don't need to
It's
shoot
not enough.
smaller targets and better position. I don't know. Doesn't Howa make Weatherby? That's a good question, Jay Bird. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out here, and I'm not bashing. I think Taurus makes a great revolver. I've actually shot a lot of the Taurus pistols, everything from what they used to call them, the Millenniums to the you name it.
They got some new ones.
And back in the day when I used to help out at a gun store, there were quite a few rental guns because, you know, a really good gun stores are going to have rental guns where you can take them out on the range, you pay, you know, $10 or whatever. And so they get beat up. They really get used. And I saw more Taurus semi-automatics and revolvers go down more than any other brand that was carried in the store. Now that store didn't carry much lower than that as far as price point. I understand everything's at a price point. I'm not saying all Tauruses are bad. I'm just saying
some really high quality stuff all the way down to whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we had one Taurus revolver that we couldn't even get off the range because you couldn't open the cylinder to get the live rounds out. It quit cycling. And so that gun had to be sent, and we had to get pretty creative about getting that thing apart because you can't send a pistol with live ammunition in it.
Yeah, that would be bad.
So Big Country says he has a Howa mini action in 6.5 Grendel that shoots very well. It is my daughter's deer rifle. I only have 20 rounds on it, but I am pleased. Okay, and like I said, yeah, I mean, that's just something that I haven't experienced yet.
Yeah, and these were deer rifles.
What's the truth about CCI primers? Are they not taking orders for the time being, and this is going to kill the reloading market for 3 years? I have not heard this.
I don't know.
Mycrofts, can you spectate at the next Coleman's Creek match? No, I do not think so. That used to, I wouldn't think they would. But you might want to call down there and ask. Sometimes they'll answer the phone. That used to be a private club, and now they've opened it up for memberships, I guess, because they got to pay bills. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you could always check and see. We are starting.
Is he talking about
Friday.
for the match?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could always be I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
How you liking the Tangent? Is it your new go-to?
So, Joe M., that is a great question. The Tangent is a really nice scope. It's extremely clear.
There we go.
I like the turrets. I love the turrets, actually.
Oh, and the Zero.
I love the Zero. Resetting the Zero without any tools.
Man, I'm telling you what, I like that. And while it's not a deal breaker, not being able to go more than 4/10 below zero, it bothers me a little because, on the Burris, on the Night Force, not on the Vortex, not on the Steiners, you're limited to how low you can go. And as long as you're not using speed drop or anything, the Tangent is a great scope. Is it $1,000 better than a Night Force 7-35 attacker? I don't know. That's the honest answer to that. Is it $900?
It's $1,000 difference.
I know. Is it $800? I'm trying to find the number.
It's not a fair question to ask me because I didn't pay near for the Tangent what most people would have to pay for those. So for me, I can't base it off of what I've got in it.
Hey, Crazy Scotsman.
I have to base it off of what most people are going to have to pay for that optic if they had to spend their cash. And I'm going to say stick with the Night Force. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the Night Force. Shit. It's great. Great optic. No,
if those were your two choices, okay. You guys already know how I feel about Schmidt and Bender right now anyway. So if I'm putting up like creme de la creme, and before everybody starts chiming in with zero compromise and this, that, and the other, right now I'm just talking about me shooting a Night Force 7-35 attacker, and then spending the extra however much $1,000, $1,200 for the Tangent. I'm probably going to say the Night Force is going to win. It's not that hard to change your zero. So
if you were to buy another scope, knowing what you know now, would would you spend the extra $1,000?
No.
There you go.
But I don't regret the purchase.
I had to pull it out of him.
But I don't regret the purchase.
Yeah, no.
And I'm not going to switch I have plans of switching the tangent off of the AI.
And now you have experience with the tangent that you can bring to the channel.
The glass is better than Night Force.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
Yes.
There, you heard it here first.
No, it's probably the nicest piece of glass with a G that I've ever looked through.
Okay, Kevin Brown says 6 covered. I'm looking at the Tika and trying to decide between the T3X and build it out to a T3X TAC A1. With your Tika experience, what way would you go about it? You're basically trying to turn a T3X into a T3X TAC. What? I don't understand. I don't know what the difference is in price. I think I don't know. I can't remember what T3 just straight up X is. I think it's more the hunting version. I don't know. I love that rifle. And the bolt is smooth as silk. But that would be the same on either one. I don't know. Either that or throw it in a chassis. And now you have, because like on that one I'm looking at right now, I got the Area 419 Arca rail on it. Just so I can run it on a tripod easier. I don't know. Or maybe you can get a discount on that whole stock. I don't know. You can end up with a nice rifle either way, but
yeah, they do shoot well. Pontius Pilot, he asked, do I plan on using the Daniel Defense Delta 5 Pro in a match in the future? The answer to that is unequivocally. Say that.
You said it. You pulled it off.
Yes, I will shoot it in 2022 for sure, in at least 1 or 2 matches. They will be more ruck-style sniper matches, not a PRS match. PRS matches, I have other rifles that will suit that better. I don't plan on ever shooting a PRS match in production division. But yeah, you'll see a lot more of that rifle. I've already talked about getting the 6.5 barrel. I also didn't know this, but I found out today in talking with the guys at Daniel Defense, Proof already has the schematics on that. Go ahead and do drop-ins on them. So I'll probably order a steel 6.5 barrel from either Proof or get one from Daniel Defense. I'll get the reaction rod. I'm actually going to do that in a video where I'm going to change the barrel out and show everybody how easy it is to do that at home without a gunsmith.
All right.
I really like that Daniel Defense, guys.
I want
a lot.
I don't know if you can even say it.
No, don't.
Okay.
Don't incriminate me.
Okay. Because I was wondering. Just get.
Is this mute?
I don't know if that works.
Yeah, it works.
No.
Okay.
You don't know if it works. I don't know if it works.
A friend of mine lost her dad this morning. Just stopped. Oh, sorry to hear that, Shaggy.
Oh man, sorry, Shag.
I looked through some glass without the G once and came home with a pink eye. Shaggy, take care of him. I'm not answering that.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I think I
Just
heard
get
it,
a Curtis, not a Tika. That's what Tree Feller says.
That is an option. I don't know what kind of money he has to deal with.
So you know what? I'll give you guys a sneak peek of this. This video that we're going to do is going to be comparing the Tika that Rick has to like the Daniel Defense Delta. And if you guys are familiar with those, I hate we can't just grab them.
I know.
They'll shut us down.
Sucks.
I really, really like that chassis system on the Delta. That thing is nice, and I meant it.
If you're going to shoot production,
I like it better than the MDTs.
Yeah.
Those knobs and the way you can lock everything down. Guys, when you start getting into one rifle that you're using a lot, little things matter. Like when you're cleaning it and you're having to take off the cheek riser.
That shit.
Yeah, and see, he's doing it right now over here on his rifle that he's leaving tomorrow with at Nationals. Those things matter. And for them to already have the C-clips, have it where it's got tension on it, you've got big, robust knobs that aren't too large but work perfectly. All of that matters.
What's even better is a folding rear stock.
Now, the Tika has a folder.
Yes,
the
it
Daniel
does.
doesn't. But
it
I
will.
guarantee you, there is no way they would have engineered that stock the way they
it
did.
has that perfect piece. You already know
already know what's coming. It's no different than Accuracy International doing it with the ATX. That hinge is going to be available. Okay. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but I can pretty much guarantee you that they will come out. If not, there'll be an aftermarket company that does it.
Yeah.
So that's
having a folder is huge. Those ruck style matches, there was a lot of times I would have it folded just so it wasn't way up here and I could walk easier.
Okay, so
and you could basically, instead of being on the end of the stock, I could clip it in at the front of it.
Yes.
And then your rifle's up farther because if you're running a suppressor, you got more shit dragging.
They both shoot sub half a minute of angle with match ammunition.
Great rifle.
Both of the rifles. Spent a lot of time with both of those. So they're both good in the accuracy department. They both have 60-degree throws, 3 lugs.
Yep.
The action is smoother in the Tika. It's just tighter. And what I meant to say in the video is I was told, oh,
what the hell?
I
was on, what is, I thought somebody walked behind us. We got these little like ladybug things here.
So what I was told is the bolt was designed that way so that it could accept more clearance for sand, dirt, and debris.
And you can tell that when you look in there because there's actually, when you close the bolt, there's still room for debris to fall between, I don't even know what you call it, the face of where, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
What the hell is that piece called?
Now, guys, if Val is on here, the sear.
No.
For the trigger.
No.
That's what you're going to see in the bottom.
No. Along the action, right? When you close the barrel, there's where it normally would be touching, or when you close the bolt, where it normally be touching.
Yeah.
You can see where it would let the dirt get out.
Clearance.
Yeah.
So when we went to Vegas and we had Val out there and SoCal,
yeah.
There was so much sand blowing around just from blowing around. I don't mean walking around and throwing dirt on it. The bolt gun's actually seized up. You couldn't physically close the bolt on it because sand was blowing into the actions and all that. This is where I could see that would be a huge benefit. The AIs were fine, but like the Christensens and some of the other, that was it. They were done. We were having to shake them upside down, trying to get all the sand out of them. So having some of those tolerances built in can make it last a little longer, make it work a little longer. All right.
That's why AKs and Glocks are so reliable.
Curtis, not a Tika. Let me get Carter Schmidt one. Ray, how many years have you been in the shooting world, and at what age would you say you were competitive with the top competitors in the shooting game?
He's still trying to get there. We're just kidding.
Well, it's up and down. That's a good question, Brian. My very first match I ever shot, I was 15 years old, and I started winning. That was a long time ago. So we're looking at 35 years ago or so.
I wasn't going to say it.
It's been a while.
Yeah, we're not.
And things have changed, as well as my interest into what type of shooting. With the different disciplines comes a whole new set of learning, because, I was doing the USPSA thing, and that was actually IPSC back then, I think it was. And I really liked that. And I got in a high power rifle back in the day when you weren't allowed to use optics. I took that all the way up to high master, was trying to get leg points to try to go distinguished, and it was like work. And so, I would try to, I'm not going to say master a discipline, but get really, really good at a discipline, and then move on to a different one.
Yeah, he's a crack squirrel, so he gets to move around.
Yeah, I like to move around. I don't want to be that one trick pony. Never have been. And, then I got really heavy into 3-gun, and I guess for me, and you guys know this probably, because we've talked about it before on the channel. And when I won the Nationals in 2018, that kind of took the wind out of my sails from doing a lot more 3-gun, because it was kind of like that bucket list. I've never lost the desire to do long range, though. That's always been a big thing for me. And then when we started winning a lot of the comps, the team matches or even individual, it just fueled that fire even more. I don't think I'll ever get away from long range.
It's a lot of fun.
It is. The rimfire thing did great with that. Got my invite to nationals, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to Utah and I'm going to Coleman's Creek. I have other obligations, and it was time for me to move on to back to center fire. I enjoy it. I'm not going to get out of it. I will continue to shoot it next year.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go. I'm not going to go head
Hog
over heels.
wild.
Matt had the same sentiment as well.
Yeah.
Ray,
I just want to finish out the season just to say I did it.
Yeah.
Have you used the Vortex Razor HE?
Pursuit of Josh says he fixed the dang magazine. Nice.
He did fix it. What's up, Josh?
Cannot get a Lithgow LA 105. I don't. The T3X is $800 less, and I would build it out to 50, or I would buy the T3X Tac A1. So, Ken, real quick, Rick had a bad experience with that Tika out in the sand. It was like to the point where no magazines worked.
Yeah.
So you've got proprietary magazines, which I wasn't quite done with that whole evaluation of both. Yeah. Because you've got proprietary mags with the Tika.
Well, I can run MDTs in it.
Yes, he could run MDTs in it. You have to modify those.
Yeah, not really.
You don't have to cut anything off the sides?
No, I had to tap just a little bit.
Oh, well, there you go. You're modifying the mags. Just say what it is. Whereas you can just use the AICS mags. And shit. But yeah, I've never seen him so disheartened because he was trying his best to get those things cleaned out. I mean, with water, everything else, and they just would not run for him.
Jaybird, I have not used the LHT, unfortunately.
6.5 barrel, Creedmoor or something else. No, if I go with another barrel on that, I'll go with a 6.5 just to have it. And I think that would be a better direct comparison comparing a 6.5 Tika to a 6.5. The other thing I like is, being able to switch barrels out at home and not having to look. I have the ability I can switch barrels out at work. I mean, I've got everything I need to do over there. I've got lathes and all that. But most people don't have access to that stuff. They either have to get a gunsmith or know somebody that's a gunsmith to get all this stuff done. A 6.5 Creedmoor barrel, as much as we shoot, they don't last long. The
next rifle I get is going to have some type of switch barrel in it.
Yeah. So that's a huge benefit for me. The other thing about having a 6.5 Creedmoor, I could always use another 6 Creedmoor barrel, but the 6.5 gives me the versatility of loading up another cartridge. Let's say I start to run low on this brass, or I can't get this brass. Well, I got a ton of this other brass, the 6.5 Creedmoor. I might not have that bullet. So having the ability to be able to do that with reloading the way it is and components, I couldn't believe it, man. Somebody was passing around a flyer the other day, and it was $200 for 2,000 primers, like CCI. I was like, holy crap.
It should be like $30, 1,000.
Yeah, that's insane.
I already answered that.
Okay, you already did? Whoa.
So I'll wait for.
I bet comparison would be the DD, the MPA, and the GAP. Yeah, I'd like to try to get one of those as well, but that's me going into production class soon for the first time. It's going to be with a D5 Pro. Nice. Good to hear that, LA.
Good stuff. Delta 5 isn't heavy enough for PRS. It'll be hard to add weight. If you want a production gun with chassis load.
So, Joe, I think that's good advice as well, because MPA does make a great rifle, but I already looked at the Delta 5, and I can use my XLR weights on the front end, and they're also
M-Lock?
Yeah. And you can put quite a bit of weight up there. Now, I've never shot production division ever in PRS, so I wouldn't know, but you can definitely balance that a little bit better.
That Daniel Defense, if you want to just buy that and go shoot production, is one of the ways to go.
And I do know that Daniel, with Daniel Defense, has been winning quite a few matches in production division in PRS with that exact rifle.
I think so.
But MPA makes a great rifle as well. I'm not going to knock them.
No, for sure.
To make that folder bracket.
Yeah.
I don't need any more business opportunities. So before you guys ask, because some guys are going to ask about the belts, they're coming. You just got to be patient.
I kind of swear I've heard that before.
Yeah.
It is what it is, guys. There's a.
Now. You're involved with it, so I mean, Guys, there's over.
I got to build the buckles, all right?
There's over 1,000 belts right now. And what we're waiting for is not only production, because you can only make those buckles so fast. So much so that I will say that I am contemplating placing an order because I am direct with Austria Alpen. I might order
do two
a couple hundred of those just so I can get those out because there are other obligations we have within the company, my company, not Microtech, for these belts. So that order and that purchase order has got to get fulfilled first. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
Just has to happen.
That's business.
Pontius Pilot. Wait, was it Pontius Pilot? Oh no, it was San Miguel. Appreciate it. I think says you guys don't look your age.
Yeah.
They're like, he's probably going, yeah, you guys are 65.
Joe M. Also, if you're serious about PRS, you need to be shooting a 6mm. Joe M. While I agree with you, there's a lot of guys that honestly don't want to get into it. They just want to do it a few times, have fun with it, be able to shoot a match. And, you know, guys, it wasn't that many years ago. 4 years ago on the PRS blog, the number one cartridge in PRS was the 6.5 Creedmoor. Now it's changed.
Yeah,
I shoot a 6 Creedmoor. I've got the 6 Dashers and all that's out there.
There is a lot of difference between the Skittles and my Tika.
Yeah, huge. It's
not even some of its weight, but the recoil, holy hell. When Dick and I were shooting, it was tough to even spot my own hit or misses.
Okay, but how about this? They all have their place, right? Formula One versus a NASCAR, right? But carrying that Formula One car on the Burris whooped your ass.
Yeah, I had to carry that Formula One that kicked my ass.
That's
the reason why I shot.
That's why you have all of those different rifles.
I even told you if I was to do it again, I would have carried Skittles.
You would have carried Skittles, yep. All right, let's see here. Man, it always goes out of control, doesn't it? All right, just got a CZ 557. Probably won't shoot past 200.
Well, and to re-answer that one question, I don't know if he puts that Tika in a chassis, it's not going to be a production rifle. I don't think.
Yeah, you can't change the chassis. Chassis has remained the same.
So,
think the 419.
I wouldn't go that way. If you're going to shoot PRS with the Tika, the barrel's too thin. That was one of the things I noticed shooting that Hornady. It heated up quick.
Highway 9 California, if you just got a CZ 557 and you're not going to shoot past 200, you don't need any degrees. You can shoot a 0 degree, 0 MOA, and you'll be fine. You know, shooting that Mark IV scope, you're going to be able to still reach out to 600-700 yards with the 0 MOA. So I definitely wouldn't go 30 degree unless you meant to say 457. Yeah, if it's a CZ 457 and you're not going to shoot past 200, then 15.
You probably need 15. It depends how much you want to hold in the scope.
If that's a 457, he's talking about a 22. Go with a 30-minute. Just go. If it's a 22, just go with the 30-minute.
No, it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt.
No.
Go with the 30-minute. The 15 would probably be fine, but if you're already there, just go ahead and get the 30.
And hell, once you shoot 200, you're going to be, this is too damn easy. I want to shoot 500 now.
He runs Pontius Pilot runs a Silencer Crow hybrid on my Banshee 45 and in my RPR 6 Creedmoor. Good for multi-caliber, in my opinion. So I actually have one of the hybrids, and it is probably the most versatile can. While it is the Swiss Army knife because it's heavy, it's long, it's a big bore, it's not the quietest, but you can put it on pretty much anything except your 50 cals and a few other big ones. But it is a very versatile can. I actually have that sitting on one of my little hidden guns on a little 300, and it's a little louder. It's a lot louder than my other dedicated cans, but
still better than nothing.
Yeah, it works well. Don't need ears. Waiting to hear Daniel Defense DD5 and 6 ARC. I don't know. I doubt you'll hear that. You might not. Okay, so you got $2,000 for the base gun. What are you buying?
What are we shooting?
Yeah, what are we doing with it, Ken?
That's going to...
Mr. X could clarify your comparison favorite on Schmidt and Bender 1 to 8 p.m. to CC, counterclockwise dual, and Night Force Attacker 1 to 8. Which is your favorite? Probably going to go Night Force. The new 1 to 8. with the better reticle. The original ones, like I said, the center reticle was too fat. The center dot covered up too much target. Schmidt and Minder makes a great scope, but I'm kind of a diehard Night Force guy when it comes to a good quality optic. I'm probably going to go. If somebody were to ask you and they were saying, "Look, here you've got some money and these things cost the same," are you going to go Night Force? Or are you going to go Schmidt?
I'm going to go.
And you've
Night
never
Force.
owned either of the two.
No, I've had a lot of eyeball time through a Night Force. So.
Yeah. The glass, in the Schmidt is really good glass. There's no doubt about it, but it's hard to find fault with any of the Night Force scopes. When I do find fault with them, I talk about it. Just like the 1-8s.
All
I hated
those,
the NXS 1-8s in the beginning.
All those Army snipers, those guys were shooting Schmitts, weren't they? Those are all Schmitts, the brown ones. The Coyote.
There were some, but most of them were shooting Night Force. Yeah.
Appreciate it, Brian Duchesne.
Oh, geez. I lost it right here. Rick, I'm really impressed how much you have improved in the years. Been following you. No matter what happens in Nationals, you're by far the most improved shooter.
Thank you.
I agree. Taurus doesn't hit all the boxes for a defense pistol for me. That's why Glock is my first choice. I know it's going to work, and there are plenty of replacement parts and extra mags. Well said.
Well, that's the thing we haven't hit yet, but we can hit it later. We need to talk a little bit about pistols, too.
San Miguel says, shoot, look who's side by side to teach them. We've learned together on a lot of this stuff. Because we got in the rimfire, it was together. Me, you,
when
and
it
Matt.
came to positions, but,
Yeah.
But as far as anything else, ballistics and anything else, no, Ray's definitely a great guy to hang out with and learn from. I mean, I used to twist your ear all day, shooting stuff.
Yep.
Question wise.
It's been fun. It's been a good adventure, and it's awesome that it's actually all been documented from getting started in it. When you really, I mean, the first time you shot 1,000 yards.
The first,
at Clinton House with the Accuracy
was
International.
That on me?
That was
in your video.
I think it was on my channel, and I was talking about holding and dope and all this, and you had never shot 1,000 in your life.
Yeah.
That's kind of what started it.
Yeah.
Glad to see you're showing some attention to ARs. How about the AR-10s? Any thoughts? So DW, I'm a huge AR-15 guy. I just don't put a lot of them on the channel. I think there's tons of other channels that have that stuff.
Almost too much.
Yeah, almost too much. And there's only so many different ways you can spin an AR, right? But I love ARs.
Well, that's kind of the thing. I'm sure there's videos on it, but like the topic of picking a battle rifle or that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Because once somebody gets a rifle, first rifle, they probably don't know what they're officially looking for. So they come to YouTube to find information more than likely. So there's a lot of good information that's been talked about tonight for a new AR purchase or someone looking for a battle rifle.
And guys, real quick, you don't have to spend $2,000. There are some great ARs out there. And I guess they're still making them, but like the Smith & Wesson, the MP-15s, they even had a less expensive model, the the Sport.
Those were running $600.
Yeah, it was like $500-$600 back in the day. And then you had the Ruger.
Now, is that a battle rifle?
5.56.
Would you consider that a battle rifle for somebody?
Yeah, it's probably good enough. Yeah, I mean, it was well thought out. Didn't see any issues with those. And I have a lot of time with those. I mean, you see a lot of those in law enforcement work. There's a lot of agencies that pick those up because the price was right. Yeah, it would work. There's no doubt about it.
Seeing like to test the rifle, like I wouldn't say that I have, I don't know what you'd consider battle proven or not proven, but like I would probably grab my Seekins. Or what is it? Yeah, it's a Seekins. My newest 3-gun rifle. I know it works well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's been tested.
I didn't want to leave him hanging, though. He said, what about the AR-10s? I've owned a lot of AR-10s. I used to shoot AR-10s in heavy division, everything
that shit
from
is heavy.
LWRC, the Reapers, to the FN Scars. They have their place, no doubt about it. I like them.
For what?
But I don't own a bunch of them.
I have one sitting over there. I don't
Yep.
even have a scope on that thing because I don't.
I
know
remember
shit.
the last time we shot that was at the farm.
And I got like, I don't know, 1,000 rounds for that thing. And it's just like, I don't like shooting. The ammo's heavy. It doesn't do anything. I'm going to say this, and that's not what I'm meaning, but it doesn't do anything that you can't do with the 5.56.
Except hit a whole lot harder.
It's going to hit harder, but like,
but it's a whole lot more to lug around.
Yeah,
too.
I don't want to carry that damn thing. But I mean, if I needed to break cinder block in order to get to somebody, then the 308 would be the thing. But
what if you're shooting at a car?
It would do better.
What if you're shooting at a car at 400 yards?
It would do better.
Yep. It has its place. All right.
It does have its place.
All right. Let's see here. Rifle bags. Ray. Rifle bags. Rifle bags.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. So, believe it or not, the prototype I showed you guys on the show months ago, maybe seems like 10 years ago. I use that bag. Every match, I carry that bag now, and it is by far my most favorite rifle bag.
But you can't have one.
But that being said, if I can't justify to myself paying that much for a rifle bag, knowing what it's going to cost for me to manufacture that, if I still remain true and do made in the USA, it would be hard for me to justify spending on that bag. And that's the way I have to look at it.
Yeah.
Because it would be over $300. I don't even want to consider making it overseas. That's not something I want to do.
And you can find decent to good bags.
Yeah, but I haven't found one like this one.
I'm not saying there is one like that one, but what I'm saying is it's like some people it's worth it to them. Some guys don't throw a rifle in a bag but once every 6 months.
Correct. And for us, it's like every freaking day.
Yeah, it's every day. Now, I've been doing great with those ones. You know?
Yeah.
But at some point, they'll fail before the other ones will. Stay wet.
What type of weight do you recommend for the MPA? Because there's a lot of options.
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. I had Brandon, a good buddy of ours, mostly raised, but he's been here. He's actually been on the chat a couple times. He has a 22-inch Voodoo ace barrel MTU contour and an MPA comp chassis. And in order for him to balance that rifle out, he still has to add another, and this is with some weights already on it. He has to figure out a way to add an additional 2.5 pounds to get that thing to balance. If you guys are trying to balance a rifle and not use a bunch of weight, my biggest thing is my hands. I have old hands now, so some of you guys know about this already. But once you start stacking all the weights up exterior and interior and all that stuff, it gets kind of tough to grab for me. So mine is sleek because I don't have any internal weights in it, but that's because I got a big old fat barrel sitting on the end.
I'm gonna leave that one alone. Okay, you know where I was going with that.
So if you're gonna get an MPA chassis, which I recommend, they got great chassis, and it's for a 22, I would go with the hybrid. You don't have all the extra knobs to raise up and down. Actually, Dick's on here maybe still. He has the comp chassis, but he has to run a bunch of weights for his Voodoo. Now he got a bigger barrel, and but trying to get those to balance correctly is not impossible, but you got to have a lot of weight.
Yeah, Squeaky Archer, just out of curiosity, between the 6.5 Grendel or 6 Arc, which one would you consider for multi-platform, multi-purpose? Are more 6 Arc manufacturers coming in the near future? So 6 Arc is relatively newer compared to the 6.5 Grendel. The 6.5 Grendel is a great cartridge. I own one. I did some tests with it. I think it's great. It hits hard. I like the 6 Arc for what I'm trying to do with it. There's a certain velocity I want to reach. There's a certain distance I want to reach with it. But I'm not saying that the 6 Arc is going to be better than, let's say, the 6.5 Grendel for shooting hawks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I will tell you, more manufacturers are doing 6-arc. I know of 2 or 3 that just came on board. A buddy of ours just got one, Santan tactical built gun in 6-arc, and he had a chance to shoot it. Great rifle. So you're starting to see some other manufacturers coming out with offerings in that 6-arc.
Well, they're finally figuring it out too.
Yeah, I think so. I think it just took a little bit of time.
Which makes sense. Anything that's new. Okay. Man, this chair's just
Guns are
noisy.
like golf clubs. Each one does something extremely well. I'm not going to shoot 1,000 meters with my 11.5. Well said, Abigail.
That's right, Abigail.
That's what the putter's for.
That's right. That's a putter
Yeah.
round.
Yeah. Anyone use 708 and PRS? Ballistics are comparable to 6.5, not better. That's a good question, Jay Bird. I've not seen that, but I remember back in the day, 708 was huge. In the days of high power rifle, guys were trying to shoot the AR-10s, and that 708 was the cartridge. That was the one to have. And, you know, it had its heyday, but I don't see any in any of these matches.
Unless that like Hunter series stuff.
Yeah, maybe so.
Which I still want to try. Keep in mind, around.
Where's the Bojangles? What's up, Casey? Man,
There
haven't
it is.
heard from you in a while, man. Last time I
Casey's
saw
alive.
you, I think you got a new girlfriend.
No, you got a baby.
Oh, dang, you moving along quick, son. I hear you.
Oh, okay, no. The other
That's
Casey.
a different Casey.
Yeah, what's up, Casey
Yeah.
Shipman? I've been seeing he does have a girlfriend.
Yeah, he
and
got
she's,
him a
she's a lot
girlfriend.
shorter than him. She's a cutie though.
We'll see you, ZPD. I want a 365, but I have a long list of gear to get before I start buying more guns, except for a higher, absolutely bomb-proof AR. Nice.
Well, see, and Abigail likes building her own stuff anyway. So
I saw a Surgeon 308 with a elephant trunk for contour and a J. Allen Enterprise 700 chassis, older design, experience with chassis. Yeah. So J. Allen, bearded barista, man, this is pretty awesome. So J. Allen, I remember back in the day, everybody just oogled and awed over those J. Allen stocks. That company actually went out of business, but was reacquired recently. Was it MDT? Yes, I think it was MDT. And there's talks about that coming up. That was a family-owned business. As a matter of fact, I actually spoke with one of the family members, and it just got to the point where they just couldn't keep up, and relying on other suppliers and, you know, just time restraints was just killing that. But had some really unique chassis. I mean, they even did chassis for M14s, and those were pretty nice. But I don't know what kind of support they're going to get unless they do get that ball rolling with MDT, if that's who actually did.
well, that would be someone that could definitely help him out for sure.
That's what the bed of the truck is for. Speaking of the bed of the truck, hey, we're going to change topics for just a minute. So today we were doing the video. Where that video came from is, if you guys or gals or anyone drives a pickup truck, bed covers. Okay. So in the world of shooting, a lot of people drive pickup trucks. They're very convenient for carrying all your stuff, still doing stuff around your property, everything else.
Yep.
But for shooting,
Securing,
carrying all your luggage, keeping things
Waterproofing,
dry,
yeah.
waterproofing, you got to come up with something. Otherwise, you're limiting yourself to 2 people in that pickup truck.
Yeah,
even
'cause
if
the
you have an
back-
extra cab,
yeah,
because
it's
you
all
got your
full of
rifles
guns.
all in there. So I've owned a tremendous amount of bed covers. Everything
And trucks.
from everything from, you know, the flips to the rolls to you name it. And I saw one at a match, and it was really robust looking. It was made by a company called Diamondback, and this one had the diamond plate on it and all that. And I was like, it's a little bit.
It
loud.
wasn't aluminum. Those black diamond plate.
It's aluminum.
Not on Mike's.
No, this ain't Mike.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Memorial 3 gun. It was on a white Tacoma, Toyota Tacoma.
Oh,
and
different one.
anyway, I saw this thing. I was like, what is that? So I just remembered the name.
Did you
So
say, what the hell?
I just got a new truck, and the problem with almost all these bed covers is you get one that there's very few leaks, might leak in a corner or something. But the last one I had, if it rained, your shooting mats and all your rifle bags got wet. It was that bad. And I hated that thing. And that was one of the most expensive covers I had bought. So I ordered one of these Diamondback covers, and if you guys aren't familiar with them, they make a couple different models. They make an HD, which is about $2,100.
Heavy duty.
Not happening. Ray's not spending that kind of money on a truck bed cover. But you can actually drive your four-wheeler and park it on top. It'll hold like 1,500 pounds. You can strap your four-wheeler to it. Yep. They got these extension ramps so you can put your side-by-side up there. That's too much damn weight up too high. I got a trailer for that. It's called a trailer, right?
It's called a trailer.
So they make another model called an SE, which is one down from that, which runs about $1,800, and it'll hold 400 pounds. And then they make one called the 270, where it looks like a work truck style, where it flips up on both sides, but then the back lifts. That wasn't my cup of tea. So when you're shooting these matches, you got a cooler, right? If you have a bed cover, it's such a pain to get to that cooler.
Well, yeah, when you got all the rifles in there.
Yeah, with the rifles and all the shooting gear. So where that video came from was we installed one today. It took us about 45 minutes or so, and this is while we were videoing and everything. And then after the end, I got up there and actually started walking around up on top of the bed cover. But
yeah,
that is a really, really good bed cover. I believe it or not, I'm actually going to do a review on that because this is probably the most impressive bed cover I've used or seen.
I tried to get them to do the Rick Hurricane water test, but we'll have to do that a different day.
Yeah, from what I've read, I can't really find any negative reviews on it, and it is a lot,
which is really cool for a company.
But I'm also trying to keep all my stuff secure when we go into a restaurant or something. That's not some easy little, and then they're in it.
Yeah, that would be a lot more difficult to get into than just say breaking a window, grabbing the stuff out of a thing.
So yeah. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you.
Yep.
Matt Cross says, "Stop it, Ray.
Stop it.
That's what the bed of the truck is for." Oh.
Well, now here, guys, it rains a lot. Now, if you're in Arizona, California, and you get a rain, I don't know, once every 7 months, then it's a lot different. See you on Friday, Rick. All right, Chris Beck.
Chris Beck going to be at Nationals. Love my tonneau cover. Joaquin, yes, I did go back to a 2500 HD. Bed cover hangs over the bed a little bit. Everything back there is nice and dry. Yeah, so Abigail, we actually have one of those on a work truck, and I think it's a Leonard or something like that, and it actually goes over the sides. And one of the things that I've noticed is it's removed all of the paint from the sides of that truck. It's been on that work truck for probably 3 years now, and where it closes and opens, there's no paint around the edge of the border, where it actually goes over those sides and keeps everything wet, or keeps everything from getting wet. You need a bed slide. Mycroft, we actually have a bed slide in that same work truck that I was telling you about, and those are very handy. They're very expensive, but yeah, those are nice. And having those two incorporated where you can just pull your rifles out, everything's right there.
It is kind of nice because then you can reach.
Yeah, you do lose quite a bit of height.
I like the poly ones. You lose about, I don't know, 9-10 inches though.
What he's talking about are like the poly, the whole bed inserts where you can pull them out.
Yeah. What the hell?
Abigail says, "Ray, are you going to put new seat back secure system in the new truck?"
How to use the Ranger.
Also, what do you think of the 325i? No, they're talking about a BMW.
I know, that's what I was thinking. Is that a...
Oh, here's a good topic we can talk about. So my wife just got a new car, and it's a Tesla. Any of you guys have any experience with electric vehicles?
That thing's badass. I want to drive with knobs on.
This is one of my most favorite vehicles I've ever driven. It's pretty awesome because she doesn't have to buy any gas whatsoever.
Or oil changes.
They're insanely fast.
Oh, that thing.
They're insanely
fast. I got a ride in it, and it was cool.
Yeah, and I knew that from back in the track days when we had, that BMW, and we had the i8 and then the i3. But believe it or not, it's coming. It's the wave of the future. I've been seeing a lot of the Mustang hybrids around. I don't even know if that's what they call it, the EV or whatever. And, Volvo's got an offering now under a different name. I think it's Polestar or something. And then you've got man, there's so many of them coming on board. And if you've got the charge station at home, it does make it really convenient. Put some door weather strip on that cover, Ray. There's a statewide burn ban. Can't burn us out like California. Yeah, you know, they actually have that HRM. They just did a burn notification here in North Carolina as well. I don't know if that's relocated.
No burning?
The new Tesla has a lot of torque. Yes, it does. And they are, you know, the thing is, you know, Joaquin hits on a good point. He's talking about the torque. It's instant power. You're not having to spool anything up. I mean, when you hit it, you're gone. And think about it. Even your entry Tesla is still going to do 0 to 60 faster than most of your sports cars out there. You know, you talk about, let's say, like an S model Plaid, which that's $100-something thousand car, 110,000 or so, 120,000. I mean, that's going to be faster than, let's say, a McLaren 0 to 60. I mean, you're talking about a 1.9 second 0 to 60.
Fast.
That's pretty dang quick, pretty quick. 325i is a great car. Abigail, depends on the year, mileage, and if it still has warranty. Tim Rink, I did go with the gas this time, and I know from back in the day of having a different 2500 gas, I know they are gas hawks. There's no doubt about it, but I needed to be able to pull a dump trailer.
17,
we averaged when Rick and when I picked it up, Rick and I drove to Nashville. That's the truck we took, and we were on the interstate running 80ish, and we were doing. I averaged 14.9 miles.
That's right.
That's highway. So it only gets worse in the city, somewhere around 11 or so. But the difference is that vehicle was $34,000 cheaper than the exact same truck with a diesel engine because of the unavailability of diesels right now and them adjusting market price. And you can buy a dang lot of gas for $34,000. So you look at a 2500 HD, outfitted really, really well. We're talking like LT or LTZ package. You can get it for 50-ish, 54, 55,000.
Yeah.
The same exact vehicle right now in a diesel, you can't get for any less than about 84,000. That's same. That's only supposed to be a $10,000 upgrade.
Yeah, for the motor.
Yeah, it should be about a $65,000 vehicle.
It's called bamboozle.
Yeah, if you're not getting a High Country or a Denali or anything like that, if you're a GMC guy.
Yeah. True.
Four-wheel drive, which model Tesla? So Lynn, she ended up getting the Model 3 dual motor long range. And so she can get about 360 miles. She's not even gotten close to burning that down in a day. It has been a little bit of a learning experience because we had not gotten our home system installed prior to getting the car. So if you are thinking about getting one, I'd go ahead and spend the $550 for the home charge station.
Oh, you can buy that before you.
Yeah, you can purchase that independently. And this gives you a way to plug in because you don't want to use superchargers. Only use superchargers on long trips because superchargers cost. If you do about a 45 to 50 minute charge on a supercharger, it's going to cost you about $12 or $13. Now, it depends on where you're located. What I've seen is the bigger areas charge more money. No. So if you get in California, it might cost $20 to fill that thing to charge it up.
Since fuel's like $20 a gallon anyways.
But it's also bad on the battery. Superchargers, the battery needs to go into a conditioning mode, and superchargers are not good long term on the battery. So there's three types of charging.
That's what I was going to say.
You have a trickle charge, which you might as well do nothing.
Yeah.
It's like plugging a drop cord into your car, and you're going to charge at about a rate of 5 to 6 miles per hour of charge.
Drop cord for you guys is an extension cord.
So imagine sleeping for 10 hours and charging your car on this extension cord, drop cord. You're going to get 50 miles. That's not enough to do anything with. So it's an emergency. It's something that you would carry in the trunk
and a generator.
Or the frunk is the front side because there's
it does have a frunk.
It's called a frunk.
You have to bring a generator and an extension cord.
Yeah, that would be just to get you to the next charging station. Chances are that's not going to happen. If you're going to a location and your nav is automatically going to set it up for charge stations. So here's a case in point. They have the next level of charging, which that's going to give you somewhere between 35 to 45 miles per hour of charging. Those are usually free. There are public locations, even at the hotel we stayed at. You could just plug it right in, and overnight, cool. Even if it was a 4-hour charge, you're going to get about 200 miles out of that.
That's going to suck though when there's a crap ton of those things.
Correct. They will have to meet that. Right now, we're at that happy point where there's more chargers than the cars that are needed. No, unless you're in California.
No, but say this: you go to the hotel.
Yeah.
But there's some ass wagon that already got there before you.
Yeah.
And now he's sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a real problem.
Yeah, like even though it's full.
Yeah.
It's like a guy sitting at the gas pump.
And you cannot unplug somebody else's car.
You can't?
No, it locks.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, and if you say open butthole, it will actually open the charge port on a Tesla. True story.
I
actually showed him that because the car, the thing is for us 50-year-olds,
this shit's crazy.
It doesn't, farts are funny, right? So, the car, you can go into the Tesla and they have this little thing called a toy box. And the toy box, you can actually make a fart cushion.
Sure, you don't need one.
When you turn the turn signal on, you can actually change it so that this seat
goes to that speaker,
noise. Or this seat makes that noise.
Or every time
it's always different.
The blinker.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of really cool features that they put in there that I think is funny.
How did you accidentally discover that? He was probably on the internet looking and.
No, actually I didn't go on the internet at all. As soon as we got the car, I just started going through all the menus, and I'm like, what? And
it says you can call it a butthole.
You say open butthole.
No, it says that on the thing. You didn't go online to find that out?
No, I was talking about the other one. Yeah, the open butthole. That was actually a TikTok. And my daughter came up, and Ella Miniac, she's like, look, you can say open butthole, and that thing will open. I was like, whatever. Because there's another thing too. So my wife was at work, and a lady was like, that thing sees dead people? And my wife was like, what? Hey, how are you doing?
She sees
so
dead
if you
people.
go to TikTok, when you drive a Tesla through a cemetery,
get the hell out of here.
Okay, so you have to remember this thing has cameras everywhere, and what I think's happening is it might see a monument, and what it does, it shows a person like walking across, because this thing will animate.
Oh, it's crazy.
This thing will animate everything around you. So like as you're starting to drive, you'll see this what looks like a bubble without much shape, but as it gets closer, it'll turn into a freaking pickup truck.
Yes.
Or it'll turn into a traffic cone. Yeah, the right color, the stop sign. It's amazing.
It knows exactly where the lines are.
Oh, and autopilot, let me tell you, Ray doesn't like autopilot. Okay,
it's because Ray's a driver.
Well, it's because I'm a driver, and so to sit back and do this and just look, and then the car just goes around this corner at 40 miles an hour.
I kept trying to talk him into doing it, and he's like, "No, I'm not doing it."
Yeah, it's a lot of trust doing that. I'm not ready for that full autonomy yet.
I want to try.
Yeah, Tesla sees ghosts. I'm telling you, it's a fact. Look it up. And the people have this stuff now. I know it's not a ghost. It just can't make. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is a ghost. It sees paranormal activity.
I wouldn't be surprised. That thing is all it is the most beautiful, sleek inside with a screen.
Yeah,
like it is.
And you can watch like YouTube full screen.
Yeah,
and so
while you're driving, it's stupid.
It's pretty cool. Don't ever key one because you're going to be on camera when you do it.
It's always on.
There's cameras everywhere. It has a Sentry mode, so I can actually, and you don't need keys. My phone is my key.
Oh yeah, Tim Rink says Elon Musk has a strange sense of humor.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So like the car,
I agree.
I can do everything here with it. That's the key. It's everything. But let's say your phone dies, and it'll save your profile and all that.
Oh yeah, this is pretty cool too.
And this especially is pretty cool.
If you're like, you don't want to carry a bunch of crap with you.
There's no dealer experience, really. I mean, you can order all this stuff online, and so with like the Tesla card, all I have. This is my key. This is the key. You program it yourself, so you can order these directly from Tesla. It shows up in 2 or 3 days, and you get a packet of like 2 of them in a wallet, and you basically just put the old one up there and this one up there, and it programs this one to what the old one was, and you can save the profile. So I can have 10 of these keys if I want. But yeah, that would be your key to get in and to start the car, and it's flexible, waterproof, and all that. But
what? Shaggy Rabbit says, fun fact, Tesla doesn't have a new car.
They have the Elon Musk.
They have the Elon Musk.
Yeah, they got a
bravo, Mr. Shaggy.
They pretty much have the I got your daddy at every stoplight because everybody wants to race those things.
Doug B says I'll take my 21 X6 M50 instead.
Yeah, Doug B, nice vehicle.
Yeah,
X6s are nice. You got the 2021. It's a lot of room, and it's expensive. I know someone that actually placed the order for them today for a Tesla X. And that came out to $138,000.
Thanks for doing that, by the way.
That is a lot of money. No problem. Basically, you just go online, build it out, and then order it, and that's it.
Highway 9 says I ordered a Cybertruck. God, I don't think we're going to see those till like 2023.
Yeah, so the back order on those Cybertrucks is going to be way back in there. Right now, they're saying the first ones won't even take delivery until mid to probably late 2022. Who knows how many of those things they'll sell? That is right up my alley. I would love to have one for sure, but you're also looking at a couple, $100,000 $1,000, and it's not out yet.
And the windows are bulletproof. They're just not rock proof.
Now, one thing I've heard, somebody, if they choose, can turn your car off,
Chico?
Just like the cell carrier can turn your phone off.
See, I don't know. There's got to be a way for some hacker dude, or
probably
to freaking just send you into a 300-mile-an-hour wall or some crap.
Yeah. So Chico wise, it's a good point. I know that all of the Chevy Bolts, I think it was 40,000 of them or something, were recalled for whatever reason. I don't know if it was fire. My biggest concern, guys, and this is a real thing, is that most neighborhoods cannot support that many people with home chargers.
Yes.
So
that's
going to be a big issue if they start pushing for this green and all of that. They still got to make all this power. Most power grids for a neighborhood can't handle all the houses having electric cars.
Yeah,
just can't do it.
No way.
And that's something we thought about, because one of the biggest things was, a lot of people say, well,
yeah,
you live up in the mountains, you're in the nowhere. And what happens if you lose power for 5 days? Well, fortunately for me, I have a diesel generator. I can run for 30 days on the house with the fuel that I have on storage. And so we'll still be able to charge the car. It's still all-wheel drive and get in the snow, and they have snow tires for them. So I did a lot of thinking. This wasn't a haphazard purchase, and it's perfect for her application. For me, it wouldn't work so well.
Night, Thomas.
Yeah, this has turned out to be a long chat.
Oh, we should get the heck out of here.
Was looking at an F-150 trimmer earlier today. Nice, Tim. Boeing used to say the same thing.
I wish they would, San Miguel. Build a solar roof. I think one of the coolest things you could do would be like some type of Jeep, something like that was all battery, but the whole damn roof.
Okay, so I do want to touch on this because I do have some experience with this. So San Miguel, we're getting to the side of me you guys never get to hear. I've always liked the whole electric principle and all of that. So I've owned everything from Civic hybrids to multiple Prius vehicles or Prii vehicles. It's something that I kind of always bought into because I did so much driving and so much commuting. One of my Prius vehicles had the solar roof. And that solar roof, the only thing it did was really powered the sunroof to be able to vent the vehicle. I don't think the array would be big enough to ever power one of those. Actually looking at possibly doing full solar on my house right now. And, Tesla sells that. You can put in your address and they can look overhead, see how much roof space you're looking at and how much power they can save you. It's very expensive, very, very expensive. You're looking at $30,000 to plus $1,000, depending on how much roof area you have. And it's not going to save you that much money. There are better systems out there other than the Tesla. I think the Tesla will save me. If I do, I'm not going to do the Tesla system. I've done enough research on them, but with my available roof space, it'll save me about $100 a month in my power bill. Well, $100 a month times 12 months is $1,200.
I even do that.
But if it costs, that's pretty good. I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
I know what you're
Think of how many years and then how many solar arrays are going to go down, how many panels are going to go down, or how many batteries are going to go down. So I am looking at a system that will be it'll be cheaper than the Tesla system, but it will be zero power bill, and it will still have enough to power the Tesla. So I don't know. I've been looking at it, been researching it, and that will pay for itself pretty quickly, whereas the other system won't.
The thing that's cool though is if you're in a parking lot, right? You go to work and you're there for 8 hours, and it's just sitting out there baking in the sun anyways.
Yep.
It would be nice to, like, I don't know, top it off or something.
Well, it's probably gonna. Well, it's doing that is probably going to be less power than that stupid little trickle charger that gets you 5 miles in an hour.
True.
Now, it would still add another 50 miles, and it could do that, but then you can't see through the solar panel. I mean, that technology is out there.
It is nice so you can see the whole skyline.
Yeah, I am aware that there are translucent solar panels now, but
I seen a car in Japan that was basically this, like, the roof comes up and turns into this big fan. I don't know if it's even real.
yeah, I've seen something like that, but I don't know how real that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like a little sunflower, and then it finds the sun and tracks it and all that. Yeah, I don't know how much that is.
Placed an order for a Cybertruck long ago. I told him I'd build one. An 85 Chevy Astrovan, but he didn't want it. Dang it, HRM. It was your shot. Getting rid of that Astrovan.
Even in Europe, there's a charging problem. The government wants you to green big time, but there's not enough power to do it. Absolutely, pew-pew, Peter. That's going to be a huge issue. They're pushing for all this green, but you got to create that power somehow. Power's not free.
I'll be driving the 4Runner.
And I mean, heck, so everybody, well, let's go hydroelectric. We'll look at freaking Vegas. I mean, look at Lake Mead.
Oh, yeah.
There's no water. I mean, look at all the water shortages. You could do something like that around here, but we don't have any.
Could you imagine being able to just run to the stream right there, go get me, I don't know, 3 gallons, pour it in your car, and you're off for another 400 miles? Tell me that ain't badass.
Yep. Let's see here.
Of course, then water bottles would be, to drink. Hell, those things would be $12.
Yeah, Luca, it's the Rivian truck. Yeah, I looked at that. That was actually pretty cool.
Who makes that?
Rivian. Rivian makes it. There's a lot of different manufacturers coming out now, and you've got Kia that's introducing theirs. Audi has the e-tron vehicles. You got Porsche that's doing theirs. Everybody's getting in on this. And just like you're saying, it is going to start overloading the system. Yeah. I can go to the local supercharger here, and we've only been twice, but both times there were probably 20 empty stations, at least 20 empty. But I know in California, every time we were traveling by a supercharger station, there was a line to get in to charge.
See, and I don't understand a line because you got to sit in there for 4 damn hours if you want
about 2 hours. So here's another big thing, guys. If you ever get into one or buy one, you'd never want to charge above 80%. 80% that's it. That's your sweet spot. Anything beyond that 80 to 100% range, it takes so long to charge in that zone. And you're going to waste so much time, and it's not good for the battery. So you want to keep it somewhere between 15 to 80% and just work in that zone.
Tim Rink, we want to shoot in your 200 acres. Let's not do this solar company. Let's go range.
Yeah, Joe M. It has nothing to do with going fast or helping the environment. For us, it was my wife was looking at a new vehicle. I looked at how many miles she drives every day, which in her case is about 70 miles. So plenty of range there. She doesn't go on long trips that often. If we do, we're taking a different vehicle. But yeah, you're exactly spot on. Those are horrible, horrible reasons to purchase one, to think that you're doing the environment any good.
You are not.
Now, if you own lithium stock, that's another story, because lithium is just going crazy regardless.
Some stocks have.
Most of them have come up. Most.
Yeah.
LAC,
I know one that hasn't.
Albemarle, Orocobre, that's out of Australia. Freaking Tree Feller probably knows about them. Yeah. Anyway, Hydrogen fuel is a possibility. You just need to separate it from the water. Yeah, Abigail, and see, like the Hydrogen 7 with BMW, I remember that whole plan. And it's just finding hydrogen stations and all that. I don't know if that'll ever. There was always a joke. We had BMW bottled water. It was like fresh out of the exhaust of the Hydrogen 7, and it's just moisture. All right. Superchargers are all full in California. You have to do it at home or work if you get in early. See, that's good to know. It's good to know.
That's how everywhere else will be. For the most part. No, actually it will be.
They better widen the shoulders of all roads quick. How do you push that crap off the road?
Yeah, can you?
How long can a Tesla sit not plugged in?
Until it can't.
Or as a month or 3, a Ford's clock killed a battery. You have to remember, Drew, there is a boatload of energy that you're talking about. We're talking about power that will kill you instantly. When the hybrids came out, there were a lot of informational stuff, certain gloves and everything you had to wear before you even started to mess around with something that just supplemented a vehicle. Even a Prius battery will kill you. So it's not one of those things that it's going to die in a month. It's just not going to happen. There's too much available power there.
No, but there's a good question there. What? So say it runs dead.
Yeah.
You can't put it in neutral and push it, can you? Because
no, you're not going to do anything. You're done. Yeah, you're done.
So you'd have to do 4 dolly jacks or something to get you to get the hell out of the road.
You're going to have to
seriously.
Well, don't run dead.
Well, yeah, that's always a better option, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because everything will die. Keep an eye out for the small modular nuclear reactor. Yeah, no, that's the way it should be. You got like this plutonium football in there.
Prius C will die in 2 weeks if you don't use it, the little battery that is. Yeah, also, a Prius, once your battery dies on that thing, the car doesn't run. There are some little defeats you can do with it, but 8 to 10 years is about max on one of those batteries. And, it's not $4,500. It's $4,500 if you get it from a dealership.
Joe M says there's a transport neutral.
Okay. That's good to know because I hadn't even read that. The battery, you can get secondary batteries with like 10-year warranties for like $1,500.
Matt Cross says, keep a few extra 2032s
in your pocket just in case. I like that.
That's awesome.
Throw them on the roof. You like coins.
Oh.
Yeah, but seriously, if you've never ridden in one, guys, there's nothing like it. It is the fastest thing you will get your butt into unless you get on a drag strip or something. A lot of the Teslas now are doing quarter-mile times in less than 10 seconds, 9.2, I think, 9.9 on some. It is insanely fast, and that's for something that's stock. Everyday driver makes no noise, except when you put it in reverse so you don't run over people because they don't hear it, and it makes this little Jetsons mobile noise.
It does. Prius
does the same thing.
The whole electric car will be a temporary solution. In a couple of years, it's going to be something better out there. Basically, is what.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, just like Vans with different.
Just like stuff. CDs.
Yeah.
Who owns CDs anymore? I mean, some of us might have some laying around, but cars now don't even come with CD players for the most part. Almost all of them come with USBs or Bluetooth.
Whatever that new plug is.
Yeah, the USB-C. You guys going to CD Steel Safari? That is the plan. Wang's World. I am planning on shooting that with Kenny again. We have a really good strategy for next year, and we would definitely like to be in the top 10.
I have to find a partner.
I battled Toyota on the Prius, not having a neutral shift lockout and supposed to tow them and not drag them from parking spots. While no strong hook points, that won't damage the underbody. UB, I don't know, underbelly, I don't know.
Yeah.
Those SMRs the size of a tractor trailer can be added or moved like Lego blocks. All right. Anything else? Man, we talked about everything under the sun tonight.
We did.
Tesla's bed covers, battle grade ARs.
Hopefully you guys have had fun, entertaining, learned something. And It was fun. It was a fun pleasure to hang out again and do some chats.
So in Utah for this weekend's match, I'm going to be out there with Bryson Allen, who's never been out west. He's never been to Utah. So it's going to be pretty cool. We're flying out there together tomorrow. He is finally able to walk again and get around. He was in a really, really bad motorcycle wreck, very serious motorcycle wreck.
Back in action.
Yeah, I mean, like to the point that, I mean, I don't want to share too much personal information, but they didn't know if he's going to be able to walk again. And he's good now, and he is ready to shoot a match. He's been doing a little bit of practice, so we're going to fly out there together, and we're meeting up. We got a VRBO, and so we're meeting up with Eagle Eye Precision, Kenneth E., who's never shot a two-gun match, and he is going to be out there with us. Chris Way is going to be staying with us, so you'll see him again.
Joe Farrell.
As well as Joe Farewell. If you don't know who
Quinn.
he is, look him up. And then the owner of Cobalt Kinetics. We'll all be shooting on the same squad, and it's going to be a blast. We'll be coming from St. George, Utah. Voodoo is actually going to be out there with a side stage because that's where Voodoo is also located. It's in St. George. Did you say magazine? What did you say?
What? Oh, yeah. Fix your damn magazine.
Oh, man, I can't see that. What the heck?
What the hell?
So I'll definitely try to come back at you from St. George.
Three
later
Crowns.
on
What's
this
up,
week.
buddy? We're actually getting out of here. So you done showed up late, my man.
Yeah. So it's been great being able to be back on here. At least we had some decent topics to talk about. I know I ran my mouth a lot, but we were talking about a lot of different things. So,
and then we got some nationals. I'll meet up with Big Country and his son, Chris Beck, Chris Simmons. There's quite a few. So it'll be a good time.
You shooting the Voodoo?
It's a surprise. So we'll see what happens. And no, I'll be shooting the Rimex. So hopefully that does well. And I'll actually be bringing an extra bolt just in case. Just in case something crazy happens. So look for those videos. You're going to do some recording, right?
Yes, I'm going to try my best, and I'm sure Kenny will have his available, so we'll definitely bring you some good video from that event.
Cool. And then
you come back.
I don't even know who's in my squad.
Wait, what are you doing after that? The week after you get back from nationals.
Oh, headed to Florida to shoot Dick Hedges' match.
Yep, and then I'll be going with Matt to shoot the Coleman's Creek match. I think Larry Palmer and those guys are going to be on our squad. Or Macab is going to be on our squad.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool seeing a lot of the guys that we meet here on the channel.
And then we'll meet up again on some match we don't know about yet.
That's it. That's it.
All right, you guys take care. I see Ricky coming up your first year. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You guys take care. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
It was a pleasure. We gone.
Oh, Doug B, congrats.